Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for putting up with me doing my non-stop talking tributes to some of the historical facts of my past with my Wing Chun training. And sorry it hasn't been technical lately. One of the main reasons is that I've got COVID, and since the pandemic started I never had COVID, so this is a new thing for me to handle. And the experience of having COVID, well, you know, it's not the best thing, but if I come to think about it, I'm thinking, wow, you know, it's not really that bad. Sure, I get tired a lot easier, and but I'm handling it pretty well. It's a bummer because I can't get out. I'm really lucky because I live in a forest and my house is just over there, so I'm just basically walking around the house. So it's really advantageous to live out in the forest. And but having COVID, it just reminded me about my past, because it's got a lot to do with Wing Chun actually. Because I'll explain to you. So when I was a kid, right, I've always sort of stated that my brother was actually my first teacher when I was 6 years old. So that was in 1971, and I grew up in Adelaide. We migrated to Australia from Italy. I was born in 1965, and just a few months after I was born, we migrated there. And so in 1971, my brother started taking lessons from Sifu Fung, and I'm not sure if it was his first school, but at the time he was teaching at the Adelaide University. Adelaide University, he had a school there. And then before he had his official school in Goodger Street, he had another school, always actually basically next door to his official school. He had a school on the last floor in a building where there was a pub on the ground floor, and I think it was on the second floor there was an Australian school for ballet, and on the last floor he had his school there. And I used to follow my brother. We'd go into town, and at night times we walk through the central markets of Adelaide and walk through there, and we'd get to Sifu Gym school. And so what's the big deal about that? I mean, Sifu Gym was officially my first Sifu. So we always used to be really freaked out because, you know, at that time, you know, Wing Chun was a big thing for us, because of the fame of Bruce Lee. And you know, we knew he was, you know, closely connected to Grandmaster Yip Man, and also Su Shung Tin. He was the direct student of Grandmaster Su Shung Tin, which I eventually met and got to train in his seminar as well. Then of course I met him in Hong Kong. And excuse me, because I am a little bit out of breath. So why am I saying all this? Is because as a kid, right, it's probably because I wasn't used to the Australian environment. There was a time that when I was going to school, well, you know, I was really getting problems with my breathing. And I don't know if anyone in Australia remembers this. In the early 70s, they used to come and do tests at the school, where they'd sort of like, they were a medical team, where they would sort of like draw on your arm like a crisscross diagram, and then they'd sort of like needle prick your arm, and they'd put solutions on it to see they were allergy tests, right? And see if you're allergic to pollens and, you know, grasses and stuff like that. Anyway, it ends up that I was allergic to just about everything. I really had really bad reactions to the grass, the pollens, and I had this pretty bad allergic asthma. I think that's how they called it. So I grew up with really bad problems. So they'd put me on this, I think I was about 9 or something like that at the time. And so, you know, my mum, you know, was pretty worried, and she didn't even really want me doing sports and stuff like that, right? And it really pissed me off because she wanted me to stop doing even Wing Chun and stuff like that, right? So I remember that at the time, Sifu Jim, I wanted my mum to come and talk to him. And I'll never forget this, right? And he really convinced her that I should do Wing Chun. And he'd actually created a program for me to follow, a fitness program, and also made me to do a lot more chi sao as well, right? So he really encouraged me to do a lot more chi sao, a lot more a certain type of fitness, which helped me to increase my concentration, my focus, and to help my breathing. And this was also generated through, you know, my punching as well, and to help me learn to breathe and train with a concentration, which really helped me to control my breathing and my asthma. Now, believe it or not, this took about probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years. I stopped using the puffer. I didn't use it anymore. True story, true story. I think by the age, I think I was around 11 or 12, I never used that stuff again. And I'm sure, even at that time there, they were using a type of steroid in those puffers as well, right? So it's a story that I've never sort of told anybody, but it's a true story. He actually created this training program, and through chi sao, especially high pressure chi sao, it really helped me to control my breathing and exercise program. And I remember that we used to do training, a lot of training, where we would do chain punching continuously. We would do we wouldn't stop the chain punching. It would be a complete fitness concentration program where you do punching non-stop. You'd have to squat while you were punching, kicking as you were punching, and do all this stuff while you were punching, and do this for about 25 to 30 minutes, right? Yeah, initially it was hard to do it, but we were doing this stuff in the 70s and 80s, right? And then gradually you build up, and you would do these on focus pads as well. So I just thought that would be an interesting story to share, how this stuff here, it didn't need to be like, it was progressive, so it wasn't really sort of like hard-burning training where you're doing like a 100-meter sprint, but it definitely raised your heartbeat, so it became aerobic, and it was definitely hardcore, but you would do it gradually, so you would mentally increase your concentration and have control on your breathing. And it was good because Sifu Jim also got, because he knew of my situation, right, he got, you know, some of the senior instructors to sort of look out for me and help me out and stuff like that. So, you know, I was really, really grateful for this experience, you know. Anyway, I thought I should share that publicly because it's a story that I've never really, well, I've told my intimate students this stuff. I thought I'd share it publicly as well because it's good stuff about, you know, a Sifu that's no longer with us that not many people know. Okay, have a good one. Catch you on the next video.